Welcome to the channel, welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before getting into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. So first of all, get involved in the comments. How are you feeling today regarding the situation? Like, I'm still fuming, more so with the results that went kind of in our favour as well. Had we bothered turning up yesterday and putting in even a half decent performance and beating Brentford, but so I'm still fuming about that as well. I'm still not happy with. I'm just not happy with the situation at all at the moment with the club, because nothing seems to be getting better. Nothing's changing. It's just the same old cycle, and that's the same old performances, the same old, players, the same mistakes by the manager, the same cycle of then, well, we sack the manager, get a new one in. I'm just absolutely fed up with things at the moment and the current state of affairs. But yeah, get involved in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling today. Let's have a bit of Sunday therapy. Now, as you can imagine, all the news is just regarding Ruben Amorim and his situation. So I'm going to run through all the latest, and we'll try and pick apart, what's being said, where we're currently at with the situation. So first and foremost, Tom McDermott said that Manchester United are divided on Ruben Amorim's position. While the inevitable is likely to happen, they see the international break as significant. So suggesting that, Ruben Amorim is likely to end up losing his job because he's too stubborn to change. We know that. And then I don't think we're going to get much changes on the pitch, because, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, then that's just naive at best, in my opinion. And that the international break, so unlikely that anything's going to happen this week. He's going to get at least the Sunderland game, and then maybe they'll review it again in the international break. Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook, though, had the following to say. So the United hierarchy are reluctant to axe Ruben Amorim despite a dismal run of only 33 points from his 34 Premier League games in charge. That's disgusting, isn't it, that record? If they do pull the trigger, they are likely to wait until after Saturday, November the 1st, to reduce the level of compensation. Although Amorim has said publicly he would walk away without a payoff, it's believed sacking him would now cost Manchester United around £12 million. So Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs suggesting that United are going to at least wait until probably the November international break, which is to save £12 million. Which could be a massive mistake, in my opinion. That's Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, and then Tottenham, I think, before the next international break. I think we play Forest on the 1st of November, so, who fancies us to get any results out of that? I don't fancy us to beat Sunderland next weekend the way I'm feeling now. Obviously, things can change, and I wouldn't put it past the team to turn up next weekend. And then, because they can turn it on and off like a tap. We know, that's the form of Man United at the moment. Good one week, bad the next. In fact, good one half, bad the second half in most games under the current leadership. Now, in terms of replacements, Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs, they said the three-man manager shortlist for if they decide to sack Amorim is Iraola, Glasner, and Gareth Southgate. On Gareth Southgate, they said that Gareth Southgate was considered when United hired under pressure Amorim last year, but didn't want to return to club management at the time. Gareth Southgate is an option for Manchester United if they decide to sack Ruben Amorim. So Jim Ratcliffe has been in direct contact with Southgate in recent weeks. So Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook suggesting that United are not going to do anything now and give him at least until the 1st of November to save £12 million in compensation. That also, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been in direct contact with Gareth Southgate in recent weeks. Whether that's true or not, we'll go through the rest of the news, and then you can form an opinion on how you're feeling regarding that. But first of all, get involved in the comments. What do you think about Gareth Southgate becoming Manchester United manager? I suspect that it's probably going to be margin, or a majority of you are going to be against it. I would suspect, but I might be surprised. Get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think regarding that. Now, that came out from Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs. Since then, this has come out from Simon Stone. Now, Simon Stone, very credible with United, at the press conferences link, someone you listen to when it comes to United news, saying that Manchester United remains supportive of Ruben Amorim despite the damaging loss at Brentford. Sources insist minority owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe is backing Amorim and feels it is only fair to judge the Portuguese on a full season with what he views as the right team. So according to Simon Stone, Sir Jim is backing Ruben Amorim and basically saying, well, until he gets all the players that he needs, they're not going to judge him, or until he gets, in which case that begs the question, why didn't you back him then in the summer? Because yes, I know, we're financially hindered at the moment with no European football and PSR and all everything that's going on regarding United finances, but surely there were some cheap players you could have bought in. You didn't have to go for all of these mega expensive players. Like, I do think there's players out there that you could have scouted and bought in that maybe would be doing a better job for the manager at the moment. So why didn't you back him fully? And now we're just going to end up in a situation where potentially this season's going to be effectively written off because you want to save £12 million and then also spend more money on a manager when it might not work ultimately. Like, it makes very little sense to me, that. But also, so again, keeping with Simon Stone, saying that multiple suggestions from external sources that short lists of replacements have been drawn up have been dismissed by United officials, who are adamant no one is being lined up to replace Amorim. Nevertheless, speculation will continue, increasing the strain on the 40-year-old before Saturday's game with informed Sunderland at Old Trafford. So yeah, we're going to have plenty of noise this week regarding Ruben Amorim and his situation, and different managers being linked and stuff. But Simon Stone, just going back a slide, saying that the club are adamant that there are no replacements being lined up for Ruben Amorim. Graham Bailey said a similar thing, that Ruben Amorim still has the club's backing, but behind the scenes pressure on him is increasing. Of course they are, because we're playing, the results are absolutely disgraceful in my opinion since then. So this has come out from Samuel Lucas, saying that Oliver Glasner, Fabian Hertzler and Iraola are among the coaches under consideration to replace Ruben Amorim if he is sacked by Manchester United. Although Amorim retains the club's backing, United are keeping an eye on potential replacements amid their alarming form. Club sources insist they do not have a successor to Amorim lined up, but accept the speculation around the manager's role. So, and Samuel Lucas is a shit stirrer, but has got connections at the club as well, saying a similar thing to Simon Stone, that, maybe we are thinking about replacements and drawing up a list, but club sources insist they are not lining up a successor for Amorim. And then Chris Wheeler from the Mail has said similar thing. Sir Jim Ratcliffe believes Ruben Amorim deserves time to work with his players, I think that should say, after United spent £236 million on new signings in the summer. United sources said on Sunday that the club are not lining up any replacements. So there seems to have been some sort of brief to the media, whether that's come from, a source or an official at the club, whoever, because you've got Simon Stone, Samuel Lucas and Chris Wheeler all effectively saying the same thing, is that Sir Jim believes in Ruben Amorim and is backing Ruben Amorim, wants to give him maybe time to bed the players in, maybe acknowledging that maybe we should have brought more players in, and until he gets the players, he doesn't want to fully judge him. Other reports, though, will suggest that they're just going to wait to save the £12 million and see how he gets on into November. But either way, it's an absolute mess, isn't it, what's going on at the moment? Like, why can't we just win football games? And then all this noise sort of goes away and shuts up. And then also the replacements being lined up. Iraola seems to be a popular choice. Glasner's name in there. Gareth Southgate, get involved in the comments. What on earth do you think about that? Ironically or strangely, though, he does have a relationship with Sir Dave Brailsford, who we know is obviously involved in EOS and, Sir Jim's right-hand man as well. So does that put him potentially in contention? And then the other ones, going back to what Samuel Lucas was saying, was that Oliver Glasner and Fabian Hertzler as well. So they're the sort of names that are coming out at the moment. But ultimately, reading between the lines, the narrative from coming out from the club is that they're not planning to make any changes on Ruben Amorim as it stands at the time of recording this video. and that they're not necessarily lining up replacements, but we are going to hear about replacements, because I think it would be naive for the club to not start at least looking at potential candidates to replace Ruben Amorim, because I've got no faith that things are going to change. Do you? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're optimistic that things are going to change. And the reason I'm not optimistic anymore is because Amorim himself has said it. He's not going to change. This is his style of play. This is his system and his philosophy, and he's not going to change it. And if he's not going to change it, then we're not going to get, I don't think we're going to get any different results and performances than what we are at the moment. It's just going to be hit and miss. We're just going to play good one game, bad the next, good one half, bad the next as well, because he's constantly making the same mistakes and it's not working. Like, anyone with half an eye can see that it is not working on the pitch as well. And if, for Amorim to keep his job, I think he needs to do a few things. So firstly, stop playing Bruno in midfield, but we know he's not going to. Don't be afraid to sub Bruno off when he's playing bad, but we know that's highly unlikely as well. Stop playing Bayindir in goal, who is clearly not good enough. Give Send Lemons a chance, please, because Bayindir wasn't seen as good enough to replace Onana until the back end of last season. Yet now he's seen as good enough to be Man United number one. The stubbornness in his system to not make changes or to tweak it. I'm not saying change the formation entirely, but do something different with it, because managers have worked it out and sussed it out already. They know exactly how to play against us to exploit our weaknesses, and you're playing into their hands constantly all the time by playing it that way. Find a way to fit Mainu into the team, because I think Mainu does offer us some control in that midfield. Like, it was evident yesterday when he came on, we started to, not necessarily be as erratic, I felt, as on the ball when Mainu was on the pitch as well. You've got to drop Luke Shaw, in my opinion, or stop picking him consistently as well. He's been absolutely average at best, I think, this season, yet still gets rewarded by playing. I don't like that. Better in-game management, and just overall better team selection. So not much, in my opinion, for Ruben Amorim to change. Just everything pretty much to what he's doing at the moment. But we know he's not going to. He's too stubborn. He's too set in his ways. He sees it as, nope, this is the way we're going to play football. And ultimately that's going to be his downfall, because I do commend a manager actually for being, for following through with his beliefs. But I think it's stupidity by not being willing to tweak things. Nobody's, suggesting that. I know some of you will actually in the comments change the system or change the style of play entirely. But if you don't want to do that because you believe in the system and stuff, at least change the personnel. Can we not give other players a bit of a run of games? Like, can Aiden Heaven not be playing a consistent amount of games instead of Luke Shaw? Because I'm sick and tired of seeing Luke Shaw. Have we not got someone from the youth that can come in and play right fullback or right wing back instead of Dallo? Because I'm sick of seeing him stink the place out every week as well. Like, can we not do something different like that and tweak it a little bit? Because it's not working, not going to work. And I think that that ultimately is going to be Ruben Amorim's downfall, in my opinion. That's where I sit on the current situation. Let's go through a few quotes from the players. So Matthias de Ligt has come out after the Brentford loss saying that, of course, the players need to take responsibility. I mean, it's always easy to look at the manager, but in the end, the players on the pitch have to do it. We can't say the goals we conceded or the chances we conceded are because of what. I don't know. You guys always talk about the system. That's always that also has a lot to do with focus, concentration, and if that's lacking in key moments, it's going to make a difference. Against a Brentford team who plays like this, they will kill you. So de Ligt effectively taking some responsibility, saying, look, the players do need to take responsibility. It's not just the system, it's the lack of concentration, the lack of focus in key moments as well. And Matheus Cunha said the following after the game: full belief, 100% confidence in the manager. The problem at United doesn't always come from the manager. We need to take our responsibilities and change the situation, because we're the ones on the pitch. So we've got a couple of players, I think, at United that are still supported of the manager, and I do admire Cunha and de Ligt for at least taking some responsibility, which is more than what our club captain Bruno Fernandes does it sometimes, because he'll just point the finger at others and blame others, which I don't like. But, words are cheap. Words are cheap. We need to see intensity, fight, character on the pitch as well. And in fairness, Cunha and de Ligt do show a little bit of that. I don't think Cunha had a particularly good game yesterday, but he was always trying, and he kept trying, and he was, he didn't down tools or anything like that. He just wasn't in particular good form. But back in the manager, that's just noise to me. Because what are we backing at the moment? It's hard to back something that doesn't exist, because the reality is we're bad. We're in relegation form. That's the reality. And the only reason I've been supportive of Amorim and stuff before is all because of hypothetical things. Like, oh, we could get better, or maybe the system will work, and if, buts, and maybes. But the reality is 33 points out of 34 games is relegation form. Something has to give. But according to the reports today, Amorim's still being backed. They're not necessarily imminently going to be making any changes, but I'm sure if we lose to Sunderland next weekend, that's going to give them a decision to make in the international break. And if not, if we manage to beat Sunderland, maybe he buys himself a bit more time until November, and then we look at it then, and then ultimately make a decision. But get involved in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your feelings on the current state of affairs at the moment at United. And don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.